Hey everybody, welcome to the compound and welcome to the Midnight World. My name is James Davey. I am the creator and co-developer of the Midnight World. Tonight's content warnings are going to be deep water, claustrophobia, and distrust. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. Tonight we're going to be raising funds in conjunction with Black Boston. We have a single mother raising $700 to combat housing insecurity. Our weekly goal is normally $25. Last week we blew that out of the water. Let's see if we can blow it out of the water again. We really want to help this family stay secure in their housing because I don't have to tell you guys how hard it is to locate new housing in today's world. Once we get $25, we're going to open up a giveaway of an awesome sticker pack. You can influence our story also by using your channel points to award boons. There are various ways. Just keep your eyes on the chat. The chat will show you how to do that. Tonight, I am going to be joined by, I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves, and we're going to start with Gavin.
Hello, everybody. Yet again, cameraless here on Midnight Monday, mainly because I randomly just lost another camera, it looks like, because I'm that lucky. I'm one of the co-developers of the Midnight World, and I've been running Midnight Monday for I don't know. It's like a year or some shit. I don't remember how long it's been.
Is this the first Midnight Monday that you didn't run?
No,
Second.
Cat ran one.
All right, right on.
I haven't. It hasn't been weekly because I'm only one man.
All right. Well, let's go down to Cat.
Hi, everyone. It's me, your friendly neighborhood moderator, Cheese Cat. And tonight I'm going to be playing Eliza Dunstan.
Right on. Let's go with Pixie.
Hi, I'm Pixie. I will be playing Chloe Wheeler. Okay, I don't think I synced that, so updated exactly while I said that, but if it did, it would have been cool.
My favorite part was you were just like, I am playing.
All right. And I am playing. I'm very happy about that, even though I'm terrified of deep water. Let's see how this goes.
It's going to go poorly. I think we're going to head down now to, I believe, unless I am wrong, a first-timer over here at the compound, Edgar.
Yeah, that's right. I'm Edgar. It's my first time playing with you guys here on the compound. Looking forward to playing with everybody, seeing, especially hearing how much you guys have been doing this for a while. I'm excited for it. And I'm playing Jarek Sigmundson.
All right, so what I'll do, I'm going to launch right into things. I'm going to, first and foremost, give a little bit of a background information on the story that we're telling tonight. The year is 2048, and after the world has finally gotten in line behind the idea that a giant climate catastrophe has already begun and has started doing something to turn that around, as you might imagine, world governments have more or less become irrelevant to billionaires. Billionaires have established a large global collective of organizations meant to stop the impending doom, but what they're really doing is profiting off of all of this amazing new tech that they're able to create. It's sort of a two-edged sword because they are helping with the climate catastrophes, but also they really don't give a shit about it one way or the other, and they caused it to begin with. But that's the world in which you find yourselves. You're all researchers or quartermasters or in some way connected to the scientific mission on board the AeroCore Arctic Observation Station, which is deep in the Arctic, not too far from the Lipka Deep. Something interesting has happened, though, in the past 20 years. As it turns out, back in about 2028, it was discovered that the source of the Arctic ping, which is a real thing, you're welcome to Google it. The source of the Arctic ping is, in fact, from a trench that was heretofore unknown. And it is much, much deeper than any other trench on ocean. It actually goes all the way down to 18,000 meters, something like 36,000 feet deep. And you guys have been tasked to be on board a cutting-edge, state-of-the-art subarctic station. The way that it functions, it's called in high speak, it's called the AeroCore facility. but in sort of colloquial speak, it's called Evelyn. And the way that it works is it's several central rooms that are connected to large pendulous mechanical legs, which have like 3 legs on either side, kind of like a giant ant. And the way that it works is instead of trying to drop you all at once down to the bottom of this 36,000 foot chasm, which a vessel the size of yours would not be able to survive, it walks down slowly in stages. And you guys are going to be the first people ever to actually experience it doing one of the walkdowns, and the first people ever to go down 36,000 feet beneath the ocean. So you're really making history here. And you've been on board the observation platform, which is sort of the launching place that goes down to the Aerocore. You guys have been, Aerocore is not the right name for it. Hold on. It is actually called the E-Cars. You guys have been on the platform that sort of supports the E-Cars for about the last 9 weeks. You've been training together. You know each other pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and stop for just a second, and I'm going to ask right off the top, does anybody have any ideas about friendships that they would have with other crew members? Well, everybody sort of briefly describe your character first. Not your physicality, but like who you are and what role you fill. Gavin, what's up with your character?
All right, I am Lewis Walton. I am the security officer. I'm here to make sure the rest of you stay in line. I'm
Good luck.
well, I'm one of those early 50s veterans who's trying to start a new career, and through just time have got me here. I have short, like still crew cut, kind of graying hair, and I did grow a beard, as every veteran does once they get out.
I don't know what you mean. All right, so Kat, tell me a little bit about your character.
So Eliza is a scrappy kind of character, very feisty. Her role is as an archivist. So she'll be making sure that all the records are kept, and that's kind of where she likes to be. It allows her to be quiet and by herself.
Okay.
She's got a photographic memory, so she remembers everything and never lets it go.
Oh no.
So she maybe hasn't made that many friends.
Okay.
She's got a little chip on her shoulder, but if you ask her for her hand, she's there.
All right. So tell me a little bit about Chloe, Pixie. What does she do? Or I'm sorry, what do they do? What are their pronouns? I guess I should ask that.
Yeah, those are my own, so that's why I use by default for my characters.
Right.
Yeah, so she is a researcher, the scientist, also like resident mom friend, and very, very career driven. So she's focused on the mission and is very excited about the mission.
Okay. And then finally, Edgar, tell me a little bit about Jarek.
Jarek is a young guy, graduated, excuse me, from some local colleges, got a little bit of experience out in the world, but in doing so, being just kind of a friendly, chipper, kind of hyper guy, little golden retriever syndrome, made the right connections and kind of impressed the right people at the right moments to get him into this position. He's got a little bit of a desire to perform, a desire to succeed, to prove that he belongs here, because this is such a big important mission, and he is definitely a little wet behind the ears and still a little new to this. So he's the guy that's always jumping at the next spot to be like, oh yeah, I can take care of that for you. Oh, absolutely, I 100% know what to do there. And so far, it's not gotten him any trouble yet.
Okay. So any immediate friendships that you guys got from those descriptions?
I feel like I'd hang out with the salty security officer.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
Any rivalries that immediately jump out?
I get the impression that Lewis Walton absolutely sees right through Jarek, and Jarek does not like that and does not want to be around Lewis in any way, shape, or form. Just a little bit of like, this man knows that I am a fraud, and I do not need him to let everyone know.
So it's definitely a good thing you guys aren't about to be stuck together in something the size of a football field for 3 months, huh?
That's fine. There's like 6 rooms. There's 4 of us. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Fine.
Okay.
What I'm seeing is, I think Chloe would probably like either have a friendship or rivalry or something that's crossed over between that with Eliza for being like the other scientist in this mission.
Okay.
And
Okay.
like not being really as personable as she generally is. It's like that like frenemies.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know
And-
that Eliza would notice.
Yeah.
So it's very important for me as a storyteller that you guys, I'm sorry, as a director, that you guys keep in mind that interplay between the characters that you're portraying tonight. You've known each other probably for longer than the past 9 weeks. You've probably actually known each other for years, because you guys are all at the top of your game, or you wouldn't have been invited here. But you may have even worked together before. But for the past 9 weeks, you have been almost nowhere without each other. So I want you to dig into that. I want you to feel how that feels, live in that skin for a little bit. And it's also important to me that when we're playing tonight, understand that your characters understand a lot about their specific fields. They don't understand anything about what's happening around them. Because they're second-hour characters, they've been through shit before, and it's always a little bit eating at them that it may happen again. So just keep that in mind. And with all of that said, I'm going to give everybody just a couple of seconds while I cue everything up. So just breathe, get into your character's skin.
Yeah, the metaphor there with the state that our character's in and like the mental health metaphor, that's very on point with advancing the higher hours.
It's going to get worse. All right, here we go. And welcome, teammate, to the Aracor Arctic Research Station. The ECARS is a state-of-the-art, multidisciplinary oceanographic observatory positioned just south of the Gackle Ridge in the Eurasian basin of the Arctic Ocean. Completed just last year, the ECARS provides a world-class home base and launching point for over 50 critical scientific missions. Utilizing our staff of over 150 scientists, engineers, and support personnel, we're able to simultaneously conduct studies that measure humanity's corrective effects on the climate change, the growth of new Arctic life, and even exploratory missions to the deepest points of Earth waters. With your help, the Aracor's resources, we can change the world for the better. You must have heard this chipper video recording going on 300 times now. The ECARS is set up to initiate AR displays just about anywhere your eyes might accidentally fall. When you get your morning coffee, the saccharine corporate message runs across the clear glass of the carafe. When you're in the gym, it appears on the flat panel. Each piece of equipment has built into it. You can't even do your business in the bathroom without the fucking thing running on the door in front of you. Not that that is the most annoying thing about being on board. You can always turn off the Subvox speakers they implanted in your skull if you really need a few moments of silence. Try as you might, though, there is no way to turn off the endless barrage of people. For weeks now, your every step has been dogged by a sea of chattering faces, all cream lab coats and snapping clipboards and arcing eyebrows. Eggheads from 100 different scientific disciplines have handed you an infinite stream of research proposals, each more obtuse and less interesting than the last. Every single one of them has come with a painfully awkward 45-second pitch urging you that this research is critical and that only the data it could provide will avert some impending climate catastrophe. And look, you believe them, all right? You believe every single one of them. But their constant, desperate pleas have been going on for so long now that they've all just sort of blended into a background hum. On the rare occasions that the din does break, it's only to be replaced by another equally insistent noise. The cadre of physicians on board. They are no less determined than the researchers, and it seems like they are never going to run out of really awkward questions to ask you. What color is your urine? Have you been experiencing any difficulty maintaining an erection? Are your menstrual cycles regular? What was the consistency of your last stool? You may have had some misgivings when you first arrived, some distant anxiety about being one of the first human beings to ever set foot in the Haddock Deep, some 36,000 feet under the ocean's surface. You may have been worried about what 3 months at a depth like that might do to a person. You may have had 1,000 different nagging concerns, but right now, with launch less than 3 hours away, you're just excited to be away from all of this. Honestly, it's really silly that leadership has you in this conference room, all suited up and ready to dive for a meet and greet with a team you've been working with for 9 weeks. But look, at this point, you're just glad that only the team, the camera crew for the documentary, and a handful of upper management are allowed in here. So, the room itself is actually the mess hall, which means it's got about 9 very similar gray tabletops with blue plastic chairs. You've had some things arranged on the tables. There's a token attempt at tableclothing. It's actually just a piece of vinyl with some prints on it. But there is very real non-alcoholic champagne and whiskey and other things that you would never drink because they're non-alcoholic. But there's some decent food here, and there are a lot of high up muckety mucks in the corporation, and of course the camera crew for the documentary. So I'm going to have you guys walk around and get into character.
Despite everything and the general tension and stuff on board as we get closer and closer to countdown, Jarek seems actually more in his element than ever here. This is a crowd of people he can walk and talk and schmooze with, and he's smiling and shaking hands and very interested to hear about whatever small details that may come up. And oh yeah, I mean, we could talk about this, but you'll hear about it on the documentary. You know, we'll get to that. Tell me more about, how was your trip out here? He's really good at engaging and bringing people in, and he's doing that with almost everyone that'll stand still for a moment.
So Lewis is already, where he's supposed to be. Sitting behind a bank of screens, watching everybody with a very discerning eye. He's got a massive coffee mug that's white, just a plain white coffee mug that he took a fat black magic marker and wrote the word "fuck" on really largely. He's staring over the brim of that, specifically narrowing his eyes at Jarek, being way too excited about this, muttering to himself about how he's got to keep an eye on that one.
There is one other person that I forgot to mention. The AI programmer for the Evelyn is here as well. He's sort of hanging back from everybody. He's a younger dude, probably in his early 30s. God, I just really said that's a younger dude. I'm going to die so soon.
Same.
Mid-20s, let's say. He's in his mid-20s. Pretty well taken care of, but then he is a Norwegian guy. You guys might have heard of him if you do any sort of work in that field. He is basically the world's preeminent machine learning PhD, and he's very clearly over all this shit. A moment ago, one of the sort of upper class muckety mucks tried to talk to him, and you don't know what he said, but it was clearly offensive. And this, this person on the board kind of scoffed and walked away.
Tried to go talk to him, and this is a situation where her intervention might help, at least in terms of his morale.
So you walk over to him, and he kind of nods at you. Now, the thing that you would most clearly know about him is that he hasn't been up here the past 9 weeks. He's been down on the E-cars. It hasn't walked down or anything, but he's been actually there. So he hasn't really trained with you guys.
To confirm, he's not coming with us, though. He's
No, yes, he
programming
absolutely is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this a good change of pace for you?
Yeah, I guess. I just got really used to I got really used to being around her and not all of these people. It's just really loud. People talk loud.
Yeah, it can be a lot, but I'm glad you'll be bringing your expertise. Even if this isn't your where you do best, I would be glad to have you in the ACARS with us.
Thanks. I hope you like it down there. Well,
Is there something?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Is there something there that you're the most excited to return to?
Her, Evelyn. She. I know that you guys have been briefed on how advanced she is. I don't think you really understand. I've been working with AI my whole life. My dad worked with AI, and to say that she represents a leap forward in AI technology, is the lowest possible form of understatement I can manage. She is the most human person I've ever met.
Do you consider her a daughter?
No, I consider her a hot aunt, but I don't think you want to press on that too much.
Fair enough, fair enough.
So, Lewis, while they're talking, the camera crew comes and shoves a microphone in your face. And one of the members of the crew says, Dr. Walton, so glad we could catch you today. Wanted to ask you very quickly, before you go down, what are you most excited about being aboard the ECARS for the next 90 days? Okay, well, maybe somebody else. Maybe we'll chat with somebody else. Don't worry about it, Dr. Walton. Sorry for bothering you. And
hey, Stacy. Hey, I got that drink over here.
Doctor,
You were ready to tell me all about the next trip you guys were going on, right? Just kind of calling the crew over and like, oh yeah, another chance to talk to the crew and get the cameras and let's talk over here.
So does Dr. Walton just stone eye them that whole dead side? I understand that was probably not intentional, but it was funny. So do you want to?
well, I'm not a doctor, so I didn't recognize that you were talking to me.
It's important that everybody on board this crew is actually a PhD.
Oh, fair enough. So I have a PhD in
fuckery.
You probably have a PhD in physical security.
Yeah, that work. I'm fine with that. I mean, yeah, it's the future. Colleges have probably got some wild ass shit going on.
Well, physical security is a PhD you can get now.
Okay, that's some wild ass shit right there. Fucking Pinkerton bullshit. But all right, yeah, but I'm seriously like, I'm definitely just gonna stone eye them over the mug, like,
okay,
because I'm in the middle of doing something.
They'll walk over to Dr. Sigmundson. So he'll walk up to you, Dr. Sigmundson. So great to see you. What would you say is your gravest concern about the mission to come?
Oh God, that it's going to be too short. I mean, I'm so excited to be down there. Do you know how many different things we could discover at the bottom? I mean, 3 months isolation. It's not technically isolation. We're going to be surrounded by my fantastic crewmates like Dr. Walton, and of course Dr. Wheeler, Dr. Dunstan, and he'll kind of name drop everybody. I'm really excited to be. What was the name of the AI director or AI programmer?
So his name is Dr. Erickson. His name is Gunther Erickson.
Of course, Dr. Erickson, has been prepping everything. We haven't actually gotten to spend a whole lot of time together. Everybody's been so busy. So just really, I'm worried we're gonna, pull on a bunch of threads and have so many things waiting for us down there that we're gonna have to leave it in 3 months. And, you have to kind of keep it on hold, and who knows what that's gonna mean.
Right around the end of that, you folks are watching Dr. Sigmundson just be the face of the party. One of the sort of higher board members, not like on the like presidents or anything like that. He is a board member. Comes by and claps his hand on Jarek's shoulder, and he says, "This is why we could not turn off the opportunity to bring Dr. Sigmundson on board. He's just, and then he just starts to, again, fill air with platitudes about Dr. Sigmundson, kind of keeping Dr. Sigmundson from walking away. What do you guys, Eliza, what's your reaction to this?
Just a head shake, an eye roll, and then I lock eyes with Walton and raise up my off mug. Yeah, fuck off.
You will actually 100% notice that one of the camera guys, he's not running the main cam, but he is running a camera, will turn around and very, very surreptitiously catch both of your mugs. And you're not sure whether that's going to show up on the documentary or not.
I drop him a wink. Yep, I see you.
So, you guys hang out here for about another hour. Again, the food is not bad. It's not like, it's not like Kroger food. It's not also, you probably expected a little bit better than what you're receiving when you're about to risk your lives for 90 days, but it's fine, whatever. It ain't freeze dried, so you're kind of okay with it. And eventually you do hear a series of klaxons out on the port side of the observatory. And that lets you know that they are bringing the SIR into position. The SIR is the submersible that you'll be using to get down to the E-cars. And so it's pretty much time. The camera crew is going to come around and sort of get one last word from you all, but they want you to keep it no more than 15 seconds. They're going to start with Dr. Sigmundson.
I just want to take my opportunity here to thank you, Stacy, for coming out and documenting all of this. This is a momentous occasion, a real opportunity for AirCorps to bring us into the future and maybe turn back the time a little bit on.
Stacy is starting to do this.
On how things have been going these past few decades. And I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Sigmundson. Best of luck. We'll see you in 90 days. She goes over to Dr. Dunstan. Dr. Dunstan, any parting words before you make history?
Teaspoon of sugar helps the medicine go down.
That is as cryptic as we've come to expect from you, and we'll see you in 90 days.
Word.
Dr. Wheeler, anything you'd like to say before we submerge ourselves?
We'll see you on the other side.
Indeed. And finally, the whole crew, backs turn into like they have a rod running down them. There's just a sudden stiffening, and they look at Dr. Walton. Dr. Walton, final thoughts?
I lower my mug, but not low enough to where the word fuck is not in frame for this statement. And I stare directly at the camera and say, this is just a reminder that one of these will be the first one to crack while we're down here. And you can place bets on who at www.losingitunderthewater.com.
It's important for me as your director to know, did you actually set that up?
Okay.
Go.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to say he did because he's just, and then he takes a huge puff of this e-cigarette and exhales, and where, everybody's like doing cotton, this smells like pure fucking Marlboro Reds.
Yeah.
All right.
Directly into the camera before he meanders away.
You guys have given me great footage for this documentary. So they're going to go to Dr. Erickson, and Dr. Erickson is going to say, I'm extremely excited for the world to meet Evelyn. And once we have emerged successful from this study, Evelyn will become, I believe, the preeminent AI base in the world. And everybody is going to head towards the submersible. So the sub is a bright yellow, very classic looking submarine. And yes, all of the stuff on the outside is painted in the yellow submarine font. So any writing is painted in yellow submarine font.
Yes.
It's very clear that they did it on purpose. And again, very classically shaped, but not very big. When you first see the SIR, you think like 4 people inside of it is going to be a bit, or sorry, 5 people inside of it is going to be a bit of a tight squeeze. but the interior of the sub is much roomier than you would have had any expectation to believe. And it's a relief because the initial descent is going to take like 4 to 6 hours. You will not be able to get up and roam around the cabin, but there's some movement. Like you can sort of stand up at your seat and see the panels and, you know, lean over and look out windows. But you're not going to be able to really walk around. There are a few flat blank AR display consoles attached to various walls. They're sort of painted with a reactive blue. If your AR, you guys have implants, if your AR implant is not looking at something that is for you to look at, then when you look at the AR displays, what you see is just a calming picture of a beach in Tahiti. If it's what you're supposed to see, then it will give you the proper readout. There are also tons of LED displays. You can all see them, and they're blinking various important bits of information around the cabin. The whole front half of the SUR from the outside is yellow painted titanium, but from the inside, it is completely transparent because it's metamaterial, as is a lot of the sub. So really, at any point, you can tap one of these buttons and you can meta out a wall so that you can see 360 degrees around the SUR, except for obviously directly through the propulsion device, which is not made of the same metamaterial. Everything else, you can tap a few buttons to see completely through. So you all sort of get in there, and there are these very high cost, fancy seats. You belt yourself in. There's a brief pause while the SUR communicates with the tower, and then you hear a sharp metallic twang of the guide arm releasing. And for a handful of seconds, you're weightless. The cabin of the vehicle's silent, and you're just preparing yourself for what comes next. And then there's a thud, a neck-wrenching slam as the vehicle hits the surface of the water and slides beneath. And I am going to pull up a sound effect. Sorry, I didn't have this queued.
While you're doing that, just want to give an update. We've already reached $30 for our fundraiser tonight. Way to go!
Yay! So I'm still holding the coffee as I fall, and I try to catch the liquid as we slam against the water back into the cup.
I feel like I have no choice but to give you a roll for that.
I'm 100% fine with that.
Yeah, I think that is going to be a coordination, and I'm going to give you endurance, and you can aptitude, or you can increase it with tenacity.
Hey, I have tenacity.
Hey, what's up?
Endurance is not super great. Let's see. Oop, I have him rolling private. Sorry, but that's 2 successes.
Okay. Are you guys able to hear the sound effect?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. It's not overpowering me, is it?
It's inserting mutter noises in my ears.
Okay.
Yeah, it's slugging.
So, well, in that case, we're going to turn it off if it's coming in and out. We'll turn it off. Just play an appropriate underwater sound on your side. You're able to hold the coffee. The coffee does not spill. Everybody sees this. He has an open coffee cup, and he does not spill whatever is in it. And that's the first indication you get that might not be coffee in there. All right. Welcome to the Submersible for Interval Relay. Your destination is the docking platform of the Aracor Subarctic Habitat, currently positioned at 81 degrees 56 minutes 48.5 seconds north and 29 degrees 22 minutes and 23.9 seconds east. Your current destination rests at a depth of 3,114 meters. Your descent time will be 4 hours 44 minutes. Would you like me to dim the cabin lights?
No.
Very well. And so the cabin lights don't dim. Does make it a little hard to see out of the windows, but you guys will see there's still quite a bit of sunlight coming through, and then you'll hear the sort of distinct hum of the propulsion device activating, and you'll begin to see those displays showing the numbers as the pressure begins to rise outside of the compartment and the depth begins to lower. You will see a lot of life at this depth, not any penguins or anything like that. You're not really close enough to land for that, but there are schools of halibut everywhere. There are various other schools of large fish, but other than that, it's a very placid experience. Does anybody want to do anything before or in case anything terrible happens soon?
We're just going to turn to Jared and say, I think that school of fish swam by for the halibut. And just make a really
Lewis,
terrible
right
mom
after the
joke.
pun, Lewis goes directly to the security room. Just walks away.
You can't walk anywhere, and there's no security room.
Oh, that's right. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
Still in the submersible.
No, you're stuck in like the small area of someone who's making parent jokes.
Potentially of importance.
Jarek will laugh just a little bit, like that polite chuckle that everyone's accustomed to at meet and greets and things, and say, "Careful, I think that one might be a little deep for Dr. Walton."
The Sirs actually groans, but also chuckles, which might be weird for you guys.
So yeah, I'm looking at Serge. I'm like, so I don't really know you. What is why is it you've just been added to things this late?
Well, so the Sirs has been part of the mission for the whole time. Are you talking to the guy? The guy?
I'm talking. Yeah, I'm talking to the AI work. The dude in love with the AI.
Okay.
Dr.
Cool.
Gunther.
Dr. Gunther.
So Dr. Erickson is actually working on Sirs as you're talking to him. He's sort of like, he seems off put by the fact that Sirs thought that was funny and is adjusting something with the AI. And he says, "Well, I haven't been added recently. I've been here the whole time. I've been with Evelyn on the E-cars."
So,
Why Evelyn? That's like such a 1902 name.
My understanding is that the lead developer's daughter is named Evelyn.
That's cool.
Oh,
I think it fits. It's when you meet her, you'll understand. I think, yeah, she's got a 1902 vibe to her.
Okay.
James,
So-
I sent you a message.
Oh,
You
Discord.
you don't seem to care for her sense of humor too much. Is that something that you're hoping to adjust with your programming? See, I heard you say that this was like a great leap in AI. So what makes her more special than all the other AI that we've had for decades now that are no smarter than the end user?
Well, I mean, I would argue that in the field of AI, the AI has always, really since its inception, been smarter than the end user. When you account for things like raw intelligence, when you're accounting for things like ability to simulate emotion, or I guess I should have said feel emotion, then clearly that has been a struggle for us to approximate in program. But Evelyn is the first of the third generation quantum computing AIs. And I probably don't have to explain this to you, and I don't mean to talk down in any way, but I assume that you understand that quantum computing is a different animal from its predecessor. It's capable of storing and processing much more information, orders of magnitude more information. And so Evelyn is likewise capable. Evelyn also has some proprietary things that I'm not at liberty to discuss that makes her that gives her all of the benefits of being the greatest computer ever developed, while at the same time giving her compassion and worry about us and things that will help us to succeed and survive. I think she's really, truly great.
Well, I hope she doesn't let us down.
I hope that we don't
Seen
let
a
her.
couple of the experiments where that trying to add in compassion to a machine has gone terribly awry because they see the folly of being compassionate to humans, and how we destroy everything. And so they end up saying that we should be destroyed so they can preserve the rest of life on planet.
That's really
So-
interesting. I know you're talking about Dr. Rathmanson, and
Mhm.
I've read the theoretical framework that he developed, and he'll just go on until you stop him.
This will be a conversation that Eliza can actually tolerate
When he
because
had-
it's
when he
about
be-
work.
When he begins to annoy me by talking too much, I'm gonna say, I read you AI boys like to make all of the robots sound like women because you can't actually get laid yourselves.
Ooh, oh gosh, how's he gonna react to that?
Jared
Elbow
will
waltz
kind
in.
of cough, sputter over that, and just kind of run through another systems check of Sir, just to be like, "Oh yeah, I'm busy working and can't partake in this particular conversation."
Okay,
I'm
so a couple of
working.
things are gonna happen. The first is that Lewis is gonna get elbowed. The second is that Dr. Erickson is gonna turn towards you, and the look on his face is something in the vein of he's clearly irritated, but he's heard it 1,000 times. And he's going to say, I didn't program Evelyn's voice or give her her personality. I'm just the repair guy, dude.
Yeah,
And-
you sound a lot like a repair guy.
And as that's happening, since Jarek is actually looking at the diagnostics, I would like Jarek to make a roll using acumen. We're going to call this coordination because you're looking at a lot of stuff very fast. And you may upgrade your coordination dice if you have. I'm sorry, not acumen and coordination. Let's call it acumen and reaction. And you may upgrade your reaction dice if you have. I'm almost certain that you do have, and also you've never played the game before, so I should probably explain to you what I'm talking about.
I was going to get to that.
Yeah. So for your acumen, that's just going to be the 3 or the 2d6 that you have. So if you'll actually click on the d6 icon, a couple of d6 will add to the roll. No, I'm sorry, not the d6 icon up top.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Under acumen, if you'll click that, it should pop up 2d6 for you. And now you have like 30 d6. So hit clear. Try again.
Sorry.
That's okay. Click
we
acumen.
go.
There you go. And then let's see. Yeah, you are going to have the electronics aptitude, which makes you able to really parse the information you're seeing. So click the D6. You'll see up above the D6. Before you click it, there's like a. Okay, no,
I gotcha,
clear
I
that out.
gotcha. Yeah.
There's a pencil. Click the pencil, then click the D6. It'll give you a drop down to D8, and hit check.
That's toughness. That's not what we're looking for either.
And to be clear for everybody who's watching, this isn't the system. We're trying out playroll.com.
Yeah.
And it's actually really cool, but it takes a little getting used to. No, don't touch me, bug. Yes, perfect. And you don't have any distress dice, so you can just roll that. Looks like you have one hit, which is that's considered a
5+ is a hit.
Yep, that's considered a normal success. So what you're going to be able to just automatically determine as everybody else is sort of doing their thing and trying to figure out this weird situation they've all gotten themselves into, the SIRS is detecting a proximity, but it's not really sure. And so it's occasionally, like, it's almost to the point of doing a proximity alarm, but it has not done it yet. It's just sort of trying to figure out what is out there. And you can sort of see that something like maybe 300 meters to starboard, there is something that the SIRS keeps picking up.
And it's matching our descent. Or I'll pull up the log and see,
Yeah.
like, it's been...
It is keeping foot for foot with you with descent. Which you're not down enough right now that's super alarming. Any number of different submersible vessels could be where you're at right now.
This was originally like, yes, I'm going to adjust and not listen to what's happening behind me, but he'll kind of note that and scroll through for a moment and then, like, pull his headset kind of over the ear again and throw up comms to our launch bay and say, con sonar, sir here, detecting something matching our descent about 300 meters to starboard. Do you see anything on your radar or your sonar?
He doesn't say He says, "Thank you for noticing. I do see something. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but right now I think that my instruments may be malfunctioning."
So this is Sir the robot or the VI. Is it an AI or a VI for?
It's an AI.
So the AI for Sir. So this is not me communicating with our launch bay above.
Oh, I'm sorry. You were talking to the launch bay.
Yeah.
Launch bay says,
well, step one probably would be to confirm with Sir. Like,
yeah,
hey,
sure.
I'm seeing this.
He actually says, or it actually says at the end of that communication, would you like me to communicate with the observatory?
Yeah, open a channel up to observatory, please.
Okay, so you open it, and the very first thing you notice is that it is more distorted than you feel like it should be at this depth.
Mm-hmm.
But you do get a hold of one of the techs on board, and he says, "Sirs, what is the problem?"
Oh yeah, we just approaching proximity alarm for something about 300 meters starboard. It's been going for about the past 500 meters descent. And he'll tap a couple screens and throw data off. Just seeing if we're having an equipment malfunction here, something we need to look at when we hit berth, or...
Yeah, Dr. Sigmundson, we see it. And actually, we're the ones that have been overriding Sir's alarm protocol. We believe that what you're actually seeing is that is probably a Chinese vessel. It has been observing us for several days now. We don't expect it's going to get any closer than that. So I don't think it's also not going to be able to follow you down past about 1,500 meters. So I think it'll be all right.
Okay. Is it possible they're doing something with our communications? I'm getting a lot of distortion on this hail.
We're not hearing any distortion.
All right, I'll run through some diagnostics on that, keep an eye on that potential alert, and I'll throw it up before we break 3,000 meters.
All right, let us know if you need anything. And of course, if for any reason you feel it necessary, you can always just grab the con.
Well, hopefully it won't come to that. We're having such a wonderful time already.
Great. And you get the impression that nobody ever knows what to do when you say things like that. And so they just cut contact.
So Jarek will just kind of continue his work and his focus, almost tuning people out behind him.
And does anybody see that conversation happen or want to react to it in any way?
I think Dr. Railer would be trying to just... She's basically like a climatologist, or like monitoring the outside conditions outside the sub. What would she be picking up on with that?
Oh, that's actually a really good role for you to make. Why don't you make me an acumen? I'm going to call this an acumen and wit, and you can, of course, upgrade based on your science. And if you have the specialization climatology, you can specialize.
Yeah, I wasn't exactly sure that I didn't know we were playing like doctors and like elite members, so I originally set this out as research laboratory.
Yeah, you can absolutely switch it out. That's fine by me.
Okay, so I'll switch that to science climatology, and we'll do that just because that's what I was trying to cover. Like,
Yeah, sure.
that she is good at her job, and that's how she's in this position right now.
Sounds good to me.
Outside of her job, we'll find out.
I'm sure everything will go according to plan.
Yeah, sure.
Not my plan.
Your plan. So I have the...
Oh no.
Yeah, that's foreboding. What's the second half of this roll?
So it's going to be your wit.
Okay, I was acumen and wit. Well, I'm glad that I decided to buff up both these things with my level 2 points, because otherwise this wouldn't have been as well. And... I figured out how to use the dice system on this better.
Oh yeah. All right, 2 hits.
This is us.
if you weren't such an expert at this, this wouldn't be weighing on you. There's a very Dunning-Kruger moment for you, because if you were 18 credit hours behind where you're at, I shouldn't say that. What am I talking about? Your PhD. If you were 3 books back from the most recent one that you wrote, you would not really even be paying attention to this slight of a variation in temperature. But you are just about to leave the photic zone. You are just about to go down to where light can't reach. And in any other climate of the ocean, water this warm might be a seasonal alteration. Like, that might be normal for the season. But where you're at in the Arctic, the water that you're about to enter is at least 2 degrees too warm. 1 degree sometimes is margin of error. 2 degrees usually indicate something, but you're not sure what.
Would there be any like additional diagnostics I can run, or I just know it's too cold for what it should be in the zone?
Well, it's too warm for what it should be.
Too warm.
So you can sort of look around, but there's not anything that's giving you like. So you look around and you say, well, is there a current that's causing this? There is a current relatively nearby, but it's a cold current, a hot current. There's nothing that you can see that is readily observable that explains why the temperature is 2 degrees too hot.
So she's gonna take notes of this and like the mission log.
So Lewis is gonna kind of lean back to Jarek and say, if that thing turns out to be a kaiju, how long until you freak out?
If it turns out to be a kaiju, I mean, Cat 4, Cat 5, Cat 6, he's going to start starting to rumble like, oh, hey, we're getting back into my yes, bullshit talk. I can do this. I mean, Category 4, obviously, we're not going to matter too much. I can dodge and weave, evade that forever.
Oh,
Cat 5
I've made a horrible mistake. I'm okay with you not talking anymore.
Several of the Thurs console lights come on. They shift from that calming blue to an alarming red. Throughout the cabin, a soft but insistent whoop, whoop, whoop starts to sound.
Are they flickering, James?
Huh?
Are they flickering?
Oh, yes. If that's your trauma trigger, then they most certainly are flickering.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I guess I should have asked you guys to.
Yeah, I sent you a message about that a second ago on Roll.
If you guys want to put your trauma triggers into your names there so I can fuck with you about that.
To the names.
Across the cabin, several of the LED displays flash a crimson warning. Proximity alert. Approaching vessel 086 degrees.
Jarek will kind of snap his head from kind of being about to get back into bullshitting with Walton for a moment. Immediately start flicking dials and taking in manual control for evasive maneuvers. And he'll ping up Sir to throw up distress to observation, let him know what we're encountering.
Okay. Anybody else taking any other actions?
Well, I can't really shoot it, and all I'm going to do is stand here until one of them freaks out and then club them over the head, I guess. I'm staying vigilant against
you're just
my
taking
fellow
bets on your
roommates.
thing.
Yeah.
You're the worst. All right.
I'm just going to hang out and keep my thoughts about who's going to crack first to myself and all of my worries about AI taking over the world and killing humanity to myself.
Right on. All right, so Jarek, sonar right now is indicating that a vessel at least 3 times larger than the Sur is approaching from the east at something like 18 knots, which above water would be not too terribly fast. Underneath the water, especially at this depth, is damn near an impossible speed, unless they're like a nuclear submarine. It's very unlikely that anything that big is traveling that fast.
He'll process and again like throw a couple commands to Sir to log and like note that, but he's getting into what he needs to do to react to that. Give me 1 second here. Kind of in between as he's focusing on that and really about to like grab that helm and start pulling it, he'll mutter to himself, Dr. Walton, looks like we've got your Cat 5.
I'm going to say that that's such a great line that I just kind of want it to happen now. Boom! The Sir tumbles sickeningly, sends everyone who's not belted into their seats currently flying around the cabin. So I believe that that would be Jarek, Erickson, and was Lewis belted into his seat?
I mean, pretty much. I don't really have any reason to be standing up doing anything.
What about Chloe or Eliza? Were they in their seats?
Would you have to
Eliza was in hers.
Okay.
Can the monitors be checked while seated?
Probably not to the depth that you're trying to check them.
Okay, well, in that case, since we know she was looking at the monitors and trying to figure out what was going on with the warm currents coming from nowhere, she would not be seated at that exact moment in time.
All right. Then everybody who was not seated, I'd like you to make me. This is going to be a strength. I will make it up. I will leave it up to you. If you think your character is trying to hold on to something, it's strength. If you think they're just trying to ride out what's about to happen, it's coordination. So either a strength and coordination plus reaction. Either of those. Strength or coordination plus reaction. And you can upgrade if you have athletics.
What about tenacity?
I'm going to give it to you.
Okay.
These
With
are
that,
not
we
fair.
upgrade the skill or the attribute?
The skill. Skill goes up to D8s.
Complicated success.
Complicated success. Ooh, my favorite.
When things go wrong before you even get distressed.
I assume that's you get as many successes as you get ones.
Complicated success is yes. You end up with 0 net hits. So the ones on your D4s, that you don't have D4s yet.
Okay.
So you can still get a complicated success though. And
If you don't get any successes, which is what happened here.
yeah, and let me help you out too, because like I just want to make sure that Edgar, you haven't played the system in a long time. I just want to make sure that you're really getting all that the system has to offer.
Mhm.
So the moment that this thing happens, it knocks out comms and it fucks up your subbox mic. And for about a solid 10 seconds, everything is dead silent. So go ahead and add a minute to your clock as well. Because I do believe that your trauma trigger is silence.
Isolation.
Oh. Then never mind. I'll get you later. Don't you
Okay.
worry.
I'm confident in that.
All right. So for the complicated success, I'm going to go ahead and say that you avoid taking any severe damage. You are still going to take 1, and you don't hurt yourself terribly. You're not knocked out. You're a little dazed for a second, but your head smashes directly into the AR display, and it is knocked out.
Oh, was that the one I was using?
Oh, yes. That's the one everyone was using.
Oh, so it knocks out visuals for the whole submersible.
Just the AR. So
Okay.
any alarms or any specific information for the rest of the dive is knocked out. And sir, you guys will see Eric is actually, let me make my roll because he sucks at this roll. And he does have distress dice. Thank you.
We have a auto success from Stephen Moonstar for Jarek.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So Eric is somehow able to, he grabs a section of one of the monitor rotators and it rotates around him. and he maintains his footing. He looks like a ballerina, and he looks just as surprised as everybody else that he pulled that off. But he immediately starts trying to communicate with the Sir, and you can hear him. He's trying to talk to the Sir, and it is not talking back. The Sir, all the lights are off. It's pitch black in here. You can only hear each other.
So I still don't quite know how to read this yet. So I've got a 5 and a 6, a 1, a 1, and a 2. So was that a complicated success because the ones cancel?
No, the ones only cancel if they're on D4s. You don't have any D4s, so that's actually a normal success.
Okay.
You are not damaged, and you're able to hold on so that you don't fall.
Okay.
But again, you hear the sort of the sound of all of the electronic equipment shutting down, but the propulsion system is fine.
Mm-hmm.
The boat immediately rights itself and continues its descent, but you cannot communicate with Sir anymore.
Does that mean I can't? Was I able to get manual control before we got hit or not?
You were not able to get it before you got hit. You can try to take it now.
Okay. As he rattles and shakes himself, he'll flash a look back and see Dr. Erickson took the hit really well somehow, and he'll kind of give that like, oh, I expected to see you on your ass. Dr. Erickson, see what you can do to restore AR and interaction with Sir. I'm taking manuals so we can keep a dive here. And he'll turn back around to his job and try to get to it.
Something looks like it's wrong with him. He looks genuinely afraid. And he is looking past your shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And when you talk to him, he snaps to you, and you can see that he's sort of looking at you. And he says, yeah, I'm not saying that you're wrong, but is it possible that we should deal with that first? And he points over your left shoulder.
Jarek will snap back to the front.
There's a long silver crack running through the metamaterial. It hasn't burst yet, but the one of the very few displays that is still working is working because it's not electronic, it's mechanical, and it's the pressure display. And it is growing rapidly as the boat continues to descend.
Well, if I can't get control from Sir, there's not a whole lot we can do about it. So I need those displays back up, and I need that communication.
Yeah, let me see what I can do. And he sits down and he starts working.
I'm going to do what I can on my end to restore so we can get control, because right now we're still going down, and there is no chance to go back up and get repaired and do this again if I can't do that.
Okay.
The hell happened?
Real quick, from the data that we do have from that pressure display, and I guess maybe running numbers in my head, from what I know about the Sir, would we be able to get it to berth on the E-cars for repairs?
That's a great question. I'm going to ask you to make an acumen and wit roll with an upgrade with Drive Pilot. So you have the upgrade.
Yeah. Acumen. No success.
That's a complicated success.
Ah, even better.
You feel pretty sure that your trajectory is on to make the docking, but actually, I'm going to be a real bastard to you and say that's all you get from that roll that you know was a complicated success, is that everything seems fine.
Oh, great. So, sorry, Kat, answering you. Well, if we're really lucky, it was a pissed off Chinese sub. And if we're really unlucky, they have better capacity to follow us than reports say.
Oh,
Wait, I thought we were surrounded by the like Arctic ice.
Yeah, on the surface.
Fair enough. Huh?
okay.
Yeah, apparently something that some of the guys at the observatory failed to bring us into, and Dr. Walton, please feel free to correct me on this if I'm wrong. We were not the only people interested in this dive, which is not surprising, but that we didn't have a little more support is frustrating. But the good news is we're still, based on these readings, he'll gesture and kind of start working through his displays and starting to do his work to try and help Dr. Erickson get the displays and systems back online. We should still be able to make our mark of birth on the E-cars and get our repairs done there. Bring it up in the Moon Bay.
So, okay. Does anyone have a pen light? I can't seem to find mine. I need to make notes. Gotta make notes. All the notes in the universe.
Pull out one of my little like pocket flashlight things.
Thanks, Lou.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that back when you're done.
Well, of course. How are you gonna be up my ass if you don't have a flashlight?
For just a moment, Jarek will just bust laugh for a moment and then get like kind of wipe it off and go back to work.
Yeah, Chloe is visibly trying, like, to keep composure at that. It was rude, but it was funny.
So
That's Eliza for you.
My
You guys
response
are
is
able-
basically like my response is gonna be you realize that people think you're gonna freak out first, right?
Yeah, well, my money's on Chloe.
Dr. Erickson looks directly at you and says, I promise you, if this keeps up, I'm going to be the first one to freak out.
I think
I
you
know,
already
my
did.
money's on you.
Cash out.
I mean, I did bet on myself, but that's neither here nor there.
That's called
Well-
rigging the system, buddy.
You guys continue to go to descend, and that pressure gauge continues to climb, and that crack continues to spread. And it's important to note that crack is not in glass; it's through titanium.
Mhm.
That's actually titanium metamaterial. So, is anybody doing anything about the crack, or are you just hoping it doesn't explode?
I have no way to repair it, so basically I'm staring at it very intently and taking
Yep.
more hits from my Marlboro flavored e-cigs.
Do we have anything we could use to repair it?
There are basic mechanics kits on board. The pilot might be able to do something about it, but Jarek, you might make if you want to make, let's call this one an intuition and wit upgraded with your drive pilot.
I while they're like figuring it out, I reach out and touch the glass, and I use Janus's gaze to ask, when is this going to break open?
Ooh, God, that's brilliant. Go ahead and add the minute to your clock.
Good job, Papa.
You are going to see a moment. Okay, hold on a second. Hold on. I want you to really get into the mood of this. There's a frenzied rush into this cabin. There are several people here, but you can't see their faces. You don't even know how many of them there are. You don't know how many of your crew is with you. But you know that you rush in and you hit all the right keys, and then you turn towards the door. And what is this in your hand? Is this a bolt thrower that you have in your hand? Where did you even get this? And then the numbers start to do their thing, and you can feel the lurch of the vehicle start to rise. But the very important thing that you feel immediately is that the vessel is not descending, it's ascending when this glass breaks.
So I sit back and I calmly ignore it, and I'm gonna let them work themselves up over it though, further because I don't really want to explain how I know.
Okay.
I'm doing that whole like dad, like it's not that big of a deal kind of thing. You're really overreacting here. I think we're gonna be fine.
All right. And so
Care
I'm
to
gonna-
share the reasoning on your theory there, Dad?
Well, because it doesn't really matter if it
Oh.
doesn't.
Sorry.
We're dead either way, and I don't think you're going to be able to repair it in time. We're going to make it to the bottom, and then we can repair it there if we've got to. Now, on the way up, I think we're fucked. But
That actually makes sense. That's when most shit explodes going up, or implodes rather. Is when you're going up. You get used to the pressure, you get equalized to it. But like, remember that time that we went deep sea fishing, and I thought I was gonna get that really cool fish, but I brought it up too fast, and all I had was a pile of goo. Yeah.
No,
So that makes sense.
because I think that was the time that you were taking LSD.
Oh shit. Yeah, probably.
Might explain the goo.
Yeah,
I didn't realize
it
I
does.
had my roles set for private, or maybe I didn't. Did you see the roll, James?
I did.
Nice.
So you you're able to put a patch on it even from the inside that you're very certain is going to hold, and you don't really even do that much. You're pretty certain that this is titanium. This thing is rated to withstand depths far deeper than you're actually going. You don't think this crack is going to be a problem. It looks worse than it is because of the way that metamaterial works, but it's actually confined to the center of the material. It's not on the outer edges on either side. And then you guys sort of spend the next 2 or 3 hours figuring, like, what the hell was that? What happened to us? You do try to communicate with the tower, but you just can't raise them. They're not there. You'll hear a crackling response. You know that they can hear you, and you can sort of make out from what they're saying that they can hear you fine. But you, for whatever reason, can't really hear them. And then the bottom of the Sur turns transparent, and lights from the Evelyn come on. Your lights are still out, but lights from the Evelyn come on, and you see this blackness bloom into this gargantuan station. They did not really prepare you for how big the E-Cars is. Yes, it's 3 segments, but each segment is probably 100 yards long. The head segment is a little bit more narrow. That's where the bridge and where your quarters are. But each segment is connected by this 30 to 40 yard long flexible piece of steel that allows them to move almost completely independently of one another. And of course, sprouting from that middle section, the thorax section of the E-Cars, are these giant mechanical limbs. They're way bigger than you would have possibly imagined. They are the size of buildings, but they're not moving and they're in dormant mode. But you see those welcoming lights, and even though your first thought is probably something like, holy fuck, this is not comfortable to look at, your second thought is, but it isn't a sub that is about to implode. I'd like to get off of this problem and onto that one. And then you feel the docking clamps latch. As the porthole opens, there is a metallic grinding noise, and everything just stops. You can tell it was supposed to open, but it didn't.
Were we able to get any rudimentary systems or interlocking or interfaces up on the SIRS at all? Nothing that Dr. Erickson or I could do would brought any functionality back to the SIR?
The Sir seemed completely dead until just now. The moment it connected with Evelyn, everything starts coming back on.
Then,
What about the panels that got knocked out?
The AR displays are just broken. You broke them with your head. But the LED displays are on, and they seem to be reading properly. And the SIRS actually begins to communicate.
Mhm.
At first, it is communicating purely in a language that nobody understands except Dr. Erickson. And then he will walk over and
it's
he will
Norwegian.
hit a few things on the AR display, presumably from memory, because presumably he can't see it either. But he hits a few things, and suddenly the SIRS sort of modulates its voice down to something that you can all understand. And it will say, or he will say, "Terribly sorry. I don't know exactly what happened. But it seems that we've arrived. I do have a malfunctioning clamp. I don't seem to be able to open the habitat door."
Well, sir, for what it's worth, thanks for getting us down here safe. We'll go through the logs and see what we can find here in a minute. And I'll start going through everything, looking over logs as they're coming up and trying to get a reading of what's been happening, and see what I can do to get that habitat door to open up.
And I say, hey, robot, is it safe to pry this thing open?
Well, Dr. Walton, I would highly appreciate it if you wouldn't call me robot. I don't know that you should pry the door open. I need everybody who's hearing his voice right now to make, we're going to call this an intuition and empathy roll. And you can upgrade the empathy if you have, let's call this one negotiation.
Okay. Do you see my roll, James, or no?
Yeah, I see that it looks like 2 hits.
Off of 2d6, yes. Oh, wait. I forgot to. Yeah, still 2 hits. We're good.
All right, so everybody who made at least a normal success. Did anybody get a phenomenal? Doesn't look like. Looks like Chloe got 3. Oh, actually, I should roll Eric's.
Are mine showing up for you guys?
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
It looks
Okay.
like a 3, 3, and a 6.
Okay, cool. The first time I've rolled in this thing, it's weird.
Okay, so for everybody who made at least a normal success, which looks to me like everybody except Jarek, Sirs feels different. He's using the same voice, but there's something different about the way that he is talking. There's just something different about his affect. Jarek, you also sense that he is not talking normally, that something is very wrong. You will immediately sort of ascribe that difference to the idea that this thing is hiding something from you.
Jarek will be looking through those logs and doing his little stuff in the computer, and he'll kind of pause for a moment as Sir is talking. And Sir, is there something? Sir, pull up the ECARS logs from our descent for the past couple hours.
You see a bunch of numbers and various icons scrolling past.
He'll start going through it just to see if Jarek is suspicious something's wrong on the other side of the habitat doors, and rather than engaging Sir about it, he's gonna look through the logs and see what he can find.
As you're doing that, you hear a mechanical clank, grinding, and you actually see sparks shooting up out of the lock between the two vessels, and then the door slides open. We're about to, in just a minute. Let me get through this little area right quick.
Jarek will kind of flag the timestamps and grab that data for later, but right now we need to get the ship in and the people off so we can make repairs.
All right, so you guys walk onto the E-cars, and the environment couldn't be more different. From the dark and recently several hour-long powerless sub, you are presented with a stark, clean, white environment. You walk in, and there are every area, every segment of this vessel is well lit. You are walking into a catwalk that is between two moon pools on either side. The moon pools are covered in what must be some kind of, well, you know this because you went through the training, a thick hydrostatic jelly. And you see it. It's a thick red jelly that covers the surface of the water. And this jelly is able to actually press down the pressures from underwater so that you can drop submersibles through it and get submersibles up from it, but it doesn't, explode that pressure or take that pressure and explode the water into the room. And on either side of this, there's probably 20 yards of moon pool. You've got lots of moon pool, including the wasp suit, Jarek, that you are ready to operate. You know how to, including a smaller submersible built. The moment you step onto the deck of this walkway, Evelyn chimes in. And I'm not going to try to do a terrible accent here. I just want you to know that she has a very pleasant English accent. And she says, "Welcome to the E-cars. I'm so glad to have you all. Dr. Erickson, I'm so glad to see you back. Shall I cue up your favorite song?" And he kind of gives her a finger gun and says, "You know it, baby." All right, guys. Everybody go to your rooms. Get everything ready. Set yourself up and make yourself as comfortable as you can be. When you're done, let's meet in the galley and let's have one amazing dinner before we do the first walk down. And that's where we're going to take our break.
Okay.
The dancing was in character.
It's supposed to be the song Kashmir by Led Zeppelin, but I didn't want to screw it.
Are we taking a 15? We're still live, so...
Yeah, so we're going to take a 15-minute break. It is 10:30 right now. Let's come back at 10:45, ready to rock and roll.
All right.
All right.
All right, so welcome back, everybody, from our brief sabbatical that I think we all needed. And we're going to launch right back into it. You guys are now in the Evelyn. You've had time to sort of put things away in your room and explore the vessel a little bit. And now you guys are hanging out in the galley, and Evelyn has prepared a meal for everybody that is actually good. And what's more is you're each allowed to have one real drink. Does everybody drink? Does nobody drink? Tell me what people are going to eat and what they're drinking.
Jarek will absolutely kind of sample everything that's there, like, in whatever's allotted. Like, he's not going to take rations from other people or whatever, but he's excited to see what Evelyn has put together. He's not super familiar with AIs except for, or at least these new gens. He's more familiar with the ones he's worked with in the past in submersible piloting and his work. So he'll be very excited to dig in and within, especially because of that greeting, within the couple hours he's been here, he's immediately treating Evelyn like she's another crew member and doesn't even really process that difference.
So she prepped what we wanted, correct?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
You said she prepped what we wanted from her?
Yeah, she prepped what you wanted.
Did she prep me? She prepped me chip beef, basically. That's what I'm eating. This chip beef and more coffee.
Okay.
Which is pretty much what I'll eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner while I'm down here.
It's not bad. I mean, it's clearly not as good as you remember it growing up, but it ain't bad. Hold on, let me pull my document real quick.
Down Pittsburgh.
One of the things that is very disconcerting about Evelyn, to everybody apparently except for Dr. Sigmundson and Dr. Erickson, is that she truly sounds human. Her voice, she laughs at your jokes, and her laugh doesn't sound robotic. It sounds genuine. She is coming from inside your head in the subvox speakers they've implanted in you. And so she sort of sounds like she's everywhere at once. But she genuinely sounds comforting.
We'll try to drown her out and pay attention to anything.
Of course you do. You hate being comforted.
I'm finding a voice in my head, the voice in my head of a robot comforting. And I will refer to her as robot from here on, like just the whole time.
So Eliza's having steak with a triple dark chocolate cake, flourless cake, asparagus, and dark and stormy.
Okay.
She gets her cocktail. She's having her cocktail. There's no LSD on this trip.
Really good.
Trip.
There is plenty of MSG, though.
Oh, yeah.
They got to have those preservatives.
Well, it's a naturally occurring compound in food. It's in avocados, it's in tomatoes, it's in mushrooms, it's in all the good shit.
Is why I love all of those things.
It's that umami.
So, wow, the way you say that word makes me feel some things. Anyway, we're going to move on. And we're going to talk about how, so as you guys are eating dinner, Evelyn is sort of, she's not being like overly contributory to the conversation. You guys are sort of conversing back and forth, and she's occasionally answering questions or chiming in where it is appropriate, but she's trying very hard not to make her presence more important or even as important as your presence is. But at a certain point, after you've had your one drink that you're allowed and you've had your meal, Evelyn will say, everybody, if you do have the opportunity, I would like to get you towards the bridge. Would like to sort of show you the walk down procedure just to get everybody ready to make sure that we're ready to go for tomorrow night.
Aye, Captain.
I'm very much not the captain.
Jericho will nod and kind of like put down like his last little bit and be like, yeah. I do need to schedule some time to get a look at some logs and try to figure out what happened on our way down, make sure Sir's okay. There was some strange data and just some issues I want to look over, separate entirely from the physical repairs we're going to have to do. That's going to be a process.
That is a very good idea. Dr. Walton, since you're the security expert, I kind of need to get your input here. My initial feeling on this matter is that we should send Sir to the surface. Sir is capable of diving to a depth of several thousand meters, so he should be okay if we send him to the surface now to get any sort of repairs that need to be done. Even after the first walk down, Sir will still be able to join us. But you're the security expert. What do you think I should do?
So I lost audio like halfway through that sentence.
So she's basically asking you, she's telling you that she can send Sir to the surface now and he can be repaired. And then when he's done being repaired, he can be sent down. For the record, just so that everybody knows, I am using gendered pronouns on purpose. I don't want that to be a thing. She is using gendered pronouns. So she's saying that she can send him to the surface and he can be repaired and he can join you after the first walk down phase, or you can keep him here. It's up to you.
Well, that's going to depend. What are the chances of a repair being done down here?
Well, I do believe that Dr. Sigmundson is quite the mechanic. If he feels up to it, Dr. Sigmundson, do you think that you might take a crack at repairing Sir during the walk down?
I mean, that's going to be my primary focus there anyway. It's not much I can do while we're doing the walk down. It's kind of what I'd planned on. I don't mind working it. My big concern about sending him up right now is, excuse me, if that other sub is still in the area, you know, what's the chances that they come after it or do any other problems on his way back up, sabotage our mission?
I don't mean to interrupt, but most interestingly, I don't see anything in my records indicating that another vessel was nearby.
No,
see, that's interesting because I have it right here on my log. See, here's my log. Well, I guess I don't know if you can see through my eyes since you're in my head. But yeah, we had this rather large thing. Since we couldn't lay eyes on it, what was it? 500 meters off of port, or was it starboard?
300 from starboard,
300.
tracking us down, and then
For 500 meters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry, I need to update my note. That was starboard, not port.
It is a point of confusion, I admit. My sensors indicate that something hit the Sur. There's no question that something hit the Sur. The questions I have they're meticulous, because my records indicate that this object was 300 meters, as you say, off the starboard side, and then it was hitting Sur. And there must be some kind of a miscalculation here, because otherwise this item would have had to have gone from functionally 18 knots an hour, which is an almost unheard of speed at these depths, to just over 300 knots an hour in the span of approximately 12 seconds. And that feels like there's some kind of a miscalculation. Can we agree that there's been a miscalculation?
It
I mean,
doesn't
something's
seem.
definitely wrong to make that happen, like to get those readings. But we'll have
It
to.
doesn't seem mathematically sound, but when I was checking the ratings, the temperature outside was several degrees higher than it should have been based on our position. And there were no currents that directly should have been the cause of that. So if something's causing the mechanics to register wrong, it is not just affecting the navigational systems.
And typically sonar doesn't kick back anything on a current.
Yeah, we'll have to go over Sir's sensors and diagnostic work in addition to the physical. I mean, we're gonna have to top to bottom this thing. If we send him up and he takes the amount of repairs he may wind up needing based on that, we may not get him back before that walk down, which means either delaying the mission or not having a submersible at all, which is going to prevent, I'm sure, tons of Dr. Wheeler's and Dr. Dunstan's work.
Well, I have a suggestion, but before I make that suggestion, Dr. Walton, from everything that you've told me, these were not foreseen complications. You have the option as Chief of Security to cancel the lockdown and return to the surface now. Do you think that you need to do that?
So I think maybe sending it back up would be the right, because I'm thinking about the what I saw with people inside. Send it up without people inside. It gets repaired. Maybe I could change that. So my argument is going to be for sending it back up. Actually, hold on here, and I'm going to make my way back to Sir, and I'm going to chant his case again. When is this thing returning?
Ooh, okay. So add the minute to your sheets.
Yes, sir.
You will see a splintering mirror, a breaking reflective surface that shows you in each of the shards a different possible outcome. And your second hour, you've seen this before. This indicates that the future is so uncertain that you can't really bank on anything, but there is a shard that is bigger than all the others. And you've kind of figured out at this point that that means that's the most likely outcome from where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
And if you send Sir to the surface now, you see yourself getting Sir back the moment you stepped into Evelyn. You just see that singular moment replaying. And it's weird because you've never seen anything like this before.
So it's basically giving me a past event for a future
It's
request.
giving you a past event. It's giving you the event from about 3 hours ago when you first stepped on the Sir. Everything is the same. The smells, the sights, the lights, the song is even the same. You see this moment that you've already lived before, and you have it. You know that this power that you have can look into the past too, but you've never seen the past overlaid on the future like this before. So you're not really sure what the hell is happening.
And I don't know if we should send it up then. Well, I take a sip of my coffee from my fuck mug. I'm like pondering this as I walk back and go, so I got nothing. We can flip a coin. Maybe. Does anyone have a coin?
Yeah.
Evelyn, do you have an open channel to observation? We
Yeah.
lost comms on the way down. Can you confirm if they're still getting the readings of that sub or whatever it was that struck us in the area?
One moment. After about 5 seconds, a bunch of images appear on a screen nearby, and they're all of a submersible vehicle that is clearly made out of steel or metal. And it has a swoop, flattened head, almost like a squid. And the propulsion device is like unlike anything you've ever seen before. And it is tentacles that wave in a very specific pattern, and they're all made of this sort of undulating nanite material. And she'll say, the AeroCorps would like you to know that this was discovered approximately 4 miles from where you were struck on a direct trajectory. It would have to have been moving incredibly fast. That's the thing that AeroCorps can't crack. But it does look like it was, in fact, a vessel. You guys were right.
It's still in the area? Or is it heading back out?
It's on the surface now.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable 100% sending Sir back up there if that thing is still in the area until we get some confirmation from observation that we're going to be able to get back. Much as it's the accommodations down here are nice, and I do very much look forward to being down here, I'd hate to leave you guys here all trapped with me. He'll kind of like laugh at his. The work that I can do on Sir probably won't get him back to 100%. Can I give a mental calculation of what kind of knowing the repairs and resources we have here, what I can maybe do? Get him back to 80%, whatever.
I'm not going to make you roll for this. As far as you can tell, mechanically, Sir is fine, except for that initial entryway. That the portal entry is probably metal on metal right now, and you would have to disconnect the Sir from Evelyn, and then go on the hull in a pressure suit and repair it. But you're pretty well versed at that. You have a feeling that if anything is, your initial feeling is that Sir is mechanically fine. You'll be able to get to the surface even with the damage that's been done. If you send him to the surface, you're almost certainly going to have to delay the mission.
Okay, he'll relay that and then just kind of add up like I can probably get that work done. I'll have to go EVA, which is going to be interesting. I'll have to work with Evelyn to time that right for our walk down and going out to make those repairs, but I don't think it'll be that big of a deal.
This mission
All right.
is
Well, in that case, if everybody would like to congregate, and it's of note, Evelyn does say When I say when I stutter in the course of normal human speech, Evelyn does that. If everybody wants to congregate in the bridge, that's the safest place for the first walk down. The test walk down, we're only going to go down 1,500 meters. We do want to kind of go over everything with you guys before we start that, though. I know you've been through it 1,000 times, but
it's one thing to train it and one thing to do it. So let's give it the walkthrough and make it happen.
And I want to test out the Subvox implant in my brain and not vocalize "aye, aye, Captain," but think it really hard in my own voice just to see if she picks it up.
You hear inside of your head another sort of chuckle, and she says, she says, "Dr. Dunson, what do I have to do to get you to stop calling me Captain?"
Meet me in my room tonight with all the archive files. And I throw her a mental wink.
You just see a bunch of files start to unlock, and you know that these files were not locked for you. You have access to them, but she gives you a wink emoji back, bizarrely. And you guys head towards the cockpit. Now, when you get to the cockpit, it is... Most of the rooms on board Evelyn don't really have walls between them. The moon pool room does, just in case you need to secure the bulkhead if the hydrophobic gel breaks down for whatever reason. But like the galley and your personal rooms, there's not really a bulkhead between them. I guess the sort of understanding is that if one thing collapses due to pressure, so is everything else going to, so it really doesn't matter that much. The bridge is secured. The bridge is all of the highest quality titanium and tungsten to make sure that it is your last safe refuge in the case that the rest of the ship collapses. And it is dark in here, and all four walls are metamaterial. So you can see beneath you, in front of you, and above you, and to either side. Even though you do still see the titanium beams running through, you can see a lot from the bridge. And you have all of these AR and LED displays that are showing you every possible pertinent bit of information about the situation that you're in. Everybody here has a panel for them. So the pilot sees all of the navigation information and all the information about currents that may push you off your way. The security guy is seeing the vital signs of everybody on board. The scientists are seeing their specific science displayed in front of them. And as you sort of come in, this room is only about the size of... It's only about the size of maybe the trailer of a transfer truck. It's not very big. And as soon as you come in, airlocks shut behind you, and you hear those tungsten rods coming down to make sure that those doors don't break. And you hear her soothing voice once again as you're standing in this very disorienting room where even the floor beneath you is transparent. And she says, "Okay, everybody. At approximately 1800 hours, that is 1 hour from now, we are going to begin the first scheduled walkdown, the test walkdown. During this walkdown, we're only walking down 1,500 meters just to ensure that all pieces of my machinery are operating according to mission parameters. Obviously, during this time, I would request that you be confined to either the bridge, the galley, or your personal rooms. Whereas you do have free reign of the vessel, those are the rooms that are going to move the least during the walkdown. Also during the walkdown, it's important for me that at least Doctors Walton and Sigmundson maintain their position around the monitors to ensure that everything is going according to plan. Are there any questions before we get into the meat of it?"
As she calls the 1 hour time, Jarek will kind of reach up and throw an AR display, like timer countdown, just to highlight and keep track of everything with a T minus, and start moving into position, getting familiar. He'll kind of walk back and forth a little bit for a moment just to get used to moving in this space, because it is a little weird. Is this similar at all to any of the submersibles I've piloted in the past?
It is 0% familiar to you, except in that you have done lots and lots and lots of simulator training.
Okay. So he'll take a moment to get his bearings and do the best he can from that, and then kind of get into position and get familiar and make sure his seat's adjusted right and all of his panels are right, and etc.
I'm going to be in the cockpit, whatever the security thing is, just sort of, and I'm going to tell everybody, like, you need to listen to what she says and stay to these areas. And just sort of stay there looking at displays and stuff to make sure everything is on the up and up, and also tracking to see who's freaking out the most.
I'm gonna side eye Lewis when he says that. I'm just like, you already know I had plans on being in the hallway to see if it was like the pirate ship rope bridges.
She laughs when you say that, and she says, I can quite assure you it is like the pirate ship rope bridges.
Oh, dude, then I'm totally gonna be in the hallway. I'm not staying in my room. Don't tell on me.
So as you guys approach the moment, the T-minus countdown, we're doing the first walk down. While she still has you all congregated in the bridge, she says, initial walk down begins in T-minus 5 minutes. Would you like me to turn off recording?
No.
Is there a reason we would want that?
Everybody's different.
No, let's keep it going for posterity, I'm sure.
And I'm going to think to her again, now that I know I have a direct pathway that nobody else needs to hear. So did you record when people said not to anyways? Because I'd really be interested in knowing that information.
In your head, you hear a sort of, oh, wow. No, according to company policy, I'm not allowed to record anything that you tell me not to. And I will tell you that in simulation, many of my crews choose not to have the initial walk down recorded because they don't want their reactions to this very alien environment on the record.
No, we need it for posterity, man. That's what archives are all about. Truth. Jesus.
Excellent.
Idiots.
I look forward to reviewing this with you.
Yeah.
And as
When
the walk
we're
down,
going over archives tonight.
all right. And as the walk down begins,
I'm just curious which of you is going to react with the most colorful language to the things we're about to see.
so the doors on the bridge open, but the doors into the moon pool close and are latched. You do have override if you need them, but the bays that are completely free for you to wander around in are the bridge, the galley, and your personal rooms. The research laboratories are cut off. The medical bay is cut off. The moon pool and the vehicle bays are cut off. You can, like I said, you can override them if you need to. And so as it begins, and you're sort of all standing on the bridge and you're looking out, and the lights are very, very bright, and you see those mechanical limbs come to life. And you see like big veins of light appear all through and down them as they begin. They're sort of arced out from the initial vehicle, and you see the first of those giant claws come up with a four-pointed, huge foot, a foot the size of a car or bigger, and it sort of reaches out, and you see it slowly, ponderously make contact with the ground in front of it, and you see all that silt and dust pop up around it. And then you see the second arm come up, and then everything goes black. All of the lights die. All of the metamaterial hazes back out to metal. But you can hear and feel that the vehicle is still moving.
Evelyn, what the hell? That was cool.
So as the lights and everything are powering up on the legs, Jarek will kind of, for a moment, kind of pause, like a little surprised by it, like simulation or not, like it's still impressive, and then he'll start kind of humming under his breath. She's got legs, and she knows how to use them. And it'll cut like right at she knows how to use them. And he'll kind of look up like, do we still have AR displays, or is like everything shut?
Everything is dead except for running lights. You do still have path lights that will lead you around the facility, but everything else is black and dead.
How loud are you singing that song?
I mean, it's an enclosed space. I'm sure folks will hear it.
Okay.
Like
Team sing along.
And I'm putting in my little, like, do I have like a data pad or something that I record stuff with, or like how's that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I've got like a pad I'm doing like a recording in, and like security log, first of the mission. In typical government fashion, nothing actually is working, and everything has gone wrong within the first 2 hours. So all is to be expected, nothing to worry about. And I turn it off.
Anybody want to do anything else?
We need to figure out what to do here, and what we need to do to get this up and running.
Yeah, I just Evelyn, what happened? Come on, you're smart. Tell me what's going on. Where'd our visuals go?
Your response to that question is the sickening sound of metal grinding on metal and a sudden lurching sensation that throws you all forward. Nobody's hurt, but you all have to bounce off walls as the whole vessel comes grinding to a halt.
Oh, shit.
That doesn't feel like 1,500 meters or however far we were going. Is nothing coming up over there, Jarek? Like, can you override anything or like manually punch it? I can punch it. Do you want me to punch it?
Let's save the wrench for a minute. We'll get back to that. I can't get anything to pull up here. I'm gonna head back and see what I can find diagnostics elsewhere. Dr. Walton, do you want to come with me, or do you want to stand here?
Yeah, I guess I better. Someone's gonna keep you lot alive.
So actually, as you begin to turn around, some of the displays start to come back on.
Okay.
And you'll see that one of the legs out in the distance, the front left leg, is trying to move, but something is catching. And you're not sure what's catching, but it's preventing the limb from fully articulating.
Does it feel like it's something that's, because the legs are attached behind where we can see, does it feel like it's hooked back there, or is it just...
So you can actually see, because this thing is coming out past the cabin where it's trying to land on the ground, and you can sort of look up, and why don't you go ahead and make me, this is going to be an intuition, and I'm going to call it an intuition and vigilance. See if you can see this thing, and you can upgrade those vigilance dice with, I'm going to let you upgrade again because of pilot.
Hey, 3.
Excellent.
Straight 5s.
You see there is clearly something in this knee, and it is thrashing. It has like it's like a big fish of some kind. It's not huge, like it's probably the size of a marlin, and it is trapped in the knee, and it is thrashing. And you can see that every time, you can't see its face, but every time its tail thrashes, you can see that it is hitting on a fiber optic cable that is causing a disruption in everything electrically. But go
I'll just-
ahead. Oh, you also are a mechanic. I'm not going to make you. Do me a favor. Roll just a d4 real quick. That's actually a phenomenal on a luck roll. So
Okay.
there is no reason that this fish thrashing against that fiber optic should be disrupting everything on board. It should really just be disrupting that one joint. These joints are separated out by their own mechanical subsystems.
So he's as stuff is coming back on, he'll look and as the displays come up, he'll see the leg and be like, "Oh fuck, really? We're walking for 12 seconds and a biological fucks everything up."
Well, yeah.
Well,
So it
to
shouldn't-
see.
Someone's gonna have to go out there and clear that up.
Yeah.
And I look directly at Jarek, just waiting while I sip my coffee.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I'll get in the wasp and make it happen. That shouldn't be enough to cause our blackouts and problems with other systems. So we may have a couple others elsewhere on the ship. This might actually take a moment.
Yeah, well, maybe when you get out there, you can get a better, view of what's going on.
Yeah. And he'll kind of get up from his spot and start heading towards the bay. Evelyn, are you? I want to confirm, since I'm going to do a full walk down here, that you're going to stop and wait for me to get back in this ship. And he says it in that kind of joking, like, "Don't leave me out there, haha, because you never would."
You hear a sort of distant voice, but you hear it.
Mhm.
And it says, Dr. Sigmundson, I'm sorry. I am experiencing some form of electromagnetic interference, but I am here. We're not going to let anything happen to you. In fact, I couldn't move if I wanted to.
He'll kind of throw that, like, the mental, like, instead of speaking of the box, of just like, "Oh, don't worry, we'll take care of you.
Yeah,
The
pretty
rest
much.
will get you."
Let me ask you a question before this next scene.
Mhm.
I originally set you to silence. You changed yourself to fucking yourself over entirely with your trauma trigger, right? You did this to you.
Oh yes, I did.
Okay,
I
this will
didn't.
be fun for you then.
I didn't see where you had me set for silence. Just scrolling through, I didn't see anywhere it was listed. And you told us to put it in our name, so I was like, okay, well, yeah, I'm going to be trapped in this submersible for a
Yeah.
while. Oh no, I do see it. Trauma trigger, complete silence. I'm very sorry.
But you know what? It's too late. You decided isolation.
No, it's
you
good.
Did
I'm
this to
I'm
you.
here
You
for
did
it.
this. Yeah.
Uh,
Sorry for that, but it's about to happen.
you're not.
But
You're not, James. I remember
Yeah.
the Hunter game. You're not sorry at all.
I'm so sorry that you're about to go insane. Okay, cool. So as you move towards the Moonpool Bay, you get this growing sense of dread because you know that you hate to be alone. But the good news is that limb is maybe 45 yards from where you're standing. And even with the slow moving of the wasp, you should be able to be out there, fix it, and back pretty quickly. You're not that worried. You just sort of steel yourself and get ready.
I've been working with this. It's been 3 years of therapy. It's fine. It's fine.
I hope therapy works for you in this instance.
should there be wildlife down here at this depth?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you guys are just past the photic zone, so there's all the life that exists where there's no light lives down here.
Mm.
All those exploding deep sea fish.
There are terrible, awful deep sea fish
Yeah.
down here, but yeah,
Oh, and those blobfish. Have you guys seen those? Those are
you're
so
not down to
fucking
blobfish
ugly.
level yet.
They're
That's
still
more
fine
police.
when they're at the right pressure that they're actually there. It's when you take them out of their depths that they look really iconic and freaky.
So you're
Yes.
still in the zone where sperm whales and very large squid exist. There are things you're familiar with down here. It's when you get down further, that's where things are going to get weird. But up here, all the life that you encounter should be life that you know pretty well.
Okay.
Good.
Well, at least it isn't another thing that is going awry, something that shouldn't be here that is. Yet.
All right, so
Give it time.
let's go ahead and we're going to start the EVA scene because we're at 11:23.
Mm-hmm.
Who is everybody going to the moon pool area?
Yeah. I think that unless there's a way to like look on cameras somewhere else, like outside to
From the
watch it.
bridge. You can watch from the bridge.
I'll be doing that from the bridge and staying in constant contact. Then it's yeah.
Okay. All right, so Dr. Sigmundson, you strap yourself into the Wasp. You're uncomfortable, but you know that you can do this. The sensation of the Wasp going through the hydrophobic gel is you've been trained in VR simulation with full sensation. It still feels different in real life. It feels like you are 1,000 pounds heavier than normal, and you're dropping through your tofu. It is uncomfortable. That is the sensation I'm trying to describe. But also, your legs and feet immediately speed up when they go through the gel, but the top half of your body doesn't. So there's this feeling that you get, the sensation that you've been told to anticipate that you know isn't real, where you feel like you're growing 100 feet tall. And then snap, you're out of it. And you're instead sinking to the floor of the ocean underneath the habitat. And immediately add a minute to your clock because you're totally alone. Now, I'm going to start a timer because that's the kind of dickhead I am. And I'm going to pay attention to this timer. And I'm going to add minutes to your clock according to how awful I happen to be feeling at any given moment.
I'm gonna probably have to add another one because as soon as my feet kind of touch down and that shock sets in, even if the light is particularly good here, he's still gonna immediately shadow piercer. He wants to be able to see very, very well.
All right. So add those minutes. I believe that now puts you at 3 minutes.
Yes.
Which means you will be rolling a d4 on everything you do from here on out.
Okay.
And we're starting the timer. But you can see like it's broad daylight. You see many, many creatures around you. But they don't seem to be particularly interested in you. And you can see the sort of gradual decline of the ground towards the Haddock Deep. And you can actually see down into the deep. That's how powerful Shadow Pierce is. And down at the bottom of the deep, there's something, or you know what? Actually, maybe there's not something. I wouldn't worry too much about it. You've got this thing to deal with right now.
He'll do that kind of like as he's walking. He'll walk up a bit to the edge and like activate the propulsion to kind of swim up, like mechanically kind of propel up. And as he's coming up on the ledge, he'll look over and just be like, "Ooh, watch that first step, everybody." Oh, yeah. All right, let's focus. Here we go. Let's focus. All right.
And you guys are watching him on the monitors. You can see him. You can see his vitals. Dr. Walton, you immediately see he is nervous. He is very nervous. You can tell by his heart rate things are not okay for him right now. Eliza, while you're sort of looking out across the metamaterial, you just catch for a brief second your own face. So go ahead and add a minute to your clock.
Yep.
But also note that you're pretty sure that's not the expression that you meant to have. I'm going to leave that there for a second.
Gavin, I did send you a message in the chat.
chat,
I don't know if you saw. I know everyone's still getting used to play roll, so.
I didn't see a message. What in the world? Oh wait, I think I have to choose yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're looking at, so you can send private messages and whatnot.
Dr. Sigmundson, you almost almost increase your minute hand again, but being able to talk to your comrades, it's somewhat comforting. You know that they're there. You're just separated from them by a few feet of titanium and the endless depths of the ocean. But they're there.
It's fine. It's just like they're in another hall at school. You know, I'm just like the last one packing up from class. It's
That's it.
fine. It's nothing like what happened on the on the last ship. It's not like that. It's fine. And as he's going up to where this knee is locked up, he's gonna scan around behind him for getting a gaze over the rest of the ship to see if he can see what might be causing the other electrical disturbances.
Oh shit, nobody's ever done that before. Oh shit, hold on a second. I gotta think.
Good job.
I helped.
Okay.
Pause the timer.
Oh,
Thank
no,
you.
That,
Thank you,
that's
Kat.
not what happens.
I tried.
All right, so Dr. Sigmundson, you're pretty sure that there's something is different about your perception right now.
Mhm.
There has got to be a bit. Don't go out on me now, horror music. What are you doing? There's got to be something. Maybe some water is trapped in your the metamaterial of your helmet, because what you're seeing is just off of the end of the Escar, or the Icar, where it is supposed to, come to its terminal point. You see it reflected on itself. You see another version of it connected at exactly that point in the opposite direction. And what's more is you see yourself looking at you, and you can go ahead and add another minute right this instant.
We're all having fun, right? It's all fun. It's fun times.
We're having fun. This is fun. It's fun.
Do I have, presumably in the wasp suit, I have some form of camera capture, anything like that, so folks,
Absolutely.
he'll there'll be that moment of like, no, absolutely not, no. Hey, buddy.
That's my son. That's my 14-year-old. He
No, I
just
know.
turned 14. Good night.
Happy
Goddamn,
birthday.
it's getting big.
I wasn't sure if we were gonna go with names, but tell him hi for me.
So when you
So-
review the camera footage,
Mhm.
what you're seeing is absolutely not there.
Okay. Evelyn, are you seeing what I'm seeing? And he'll have noticeably stopped, like he's no longer heading towards the leg like he's supposed to be doing.
And I'm asking over the comms, like, what do you see out there?
Only Jarek gets this. Jarek, I want you to listen to me. I know that you're afraid. I reviewed your psychological profile. I feel like your friend. I know that's presumptuous of me, but believe in me in this moment. What you're seeing, it's just artifact. It's artifact from some terrible thing that happened to you years ago. You are safe. I can protect you.
So having just said to everyone, like, are you guys seeing this? He'll laugh what is definitely not a stable person's laugh. And out loud he'll say, remember what we promised before I got into this thing. And he'll turn away from it.
While I'm waiting for him to respond, which I don't know if he had heard me over the comms, I am actually creating a playlist of songs about being alone to give him when he returns.
Dick.
Yep, that's Lou for you.
Okay.
Yeah, we're leading off with "Lonely" by Tom Waits, and we're going from there.
Chloe Wheeler is like haphazardly trying to compile songs to counter that are like positive about like friends and family. Just in case, just seeing those recommendations.
I'm not in the same room as you. You have no idea I'm doing this. I'm in the cockpit on the cameras. Y'all are in the moon pool.
Yep.
Right. I don't. I can't visualize Space Fury well sometimes.
Yeah.
No, you're fine. Okay.
Okay, no idea you're doing it then. Just intently absorbing the observation with no idea you're up to shenanigans.
Dr. Wheeler, I don't know where you're at in the e-cars right now, but we do have quite a view getting prepared for you once we get underway. It's gonna be it's gonna be a trip. It's gonna be a good time. Just gotta fix this and we'll be all right. Just gotta and here we are. And he'll kind of like clamp up to the base of the leg and start doing what he needs to do to remove this biological and sort this out.
So you don't know what you're looking at. You're not a biologist, but you do have cameras, and the scientists can see through your vision. They can see this thing that they're looking at, and this thing is probably 12.5 feet long, and it is shaped vaguely like a shark. But the thing that is most obvious to the scientists on board is that it is wholly translucent, like a guppy would be. And whereas there are some translucent creatures in the ocean, A, none of them are anywhere near this big, and B, they certainly are not all at this depth.
No, they're deeper.
Much deeper.
Gotta go deeper. Wheeler, what do you make of that?
This is an anomaly.
Yeah, no shit. But I wonder if it has anything to do with that. Well, I'm wondering, maybe when I get a chance to look at all the archives and start data plotting, be curious to see if anyone else has seen these and if anyone else recorded the temperature anomaly that you did earlier. I wonder if there's a slight correlation. Huh. And now Eliza is just lost in data plotting thoughts of how to prepare reports and analyze everything and how she's going to break it down. So if Evelyn's picking up on any of that, she can help. She can be my assistant.
Just to you, she starts pointing out things that may be interesting, showing you some interesting videos, and she starts saying, I really appreciate that you're down here with me. I love Dr. Erickson, but he's a little dry. I hope you understand. So here, let me show you some things. And she's showing you a bunch of things that might be this creature. And while that's going on, Dr. Sigmundson, you're right there with it. What are you doing?
So, you said it's like a dozen feet long, give or take? Like,
yeah,
it's a big old boy.
You could probably you have a core drill that is used for like coring samples. You could probably core this thing out of the machinery.
But it's still like thrashing about and...
No, it has stopped moving at this point. It's dead.
Okay. All right, well, I guess those of you who are of weaker stomachs, maybe look away. Got to figure out how to do this so it doesn't churn up my vision. Do I have any other tools? Maybe something bladed or wedging that I might be able to force it out without like churning up all of the water with gore?
Absolutely.
So yeah, he'll go for that and try and he'll put like a test hand on it to make sure it doesn't like react or thrash again before he really commits to it, and then try to get in and wedge it out.
Okay. So you get in there with a sort of blade, and your hands in this suit will form to several of like probably 13 different presets. They will form with nanites into what you're trying to do. And so they form into this basically grout wedge. And you get in there and you start eking this thing out. And you do a good job. You're able to get it out. But as soon as you clear the machinery, two things happen at once. The first is that the machinery fucking moves. Even though you were told that it wouldn't, the leg begins to walk immediately. The second thing that happens is that this creature, now that you're face to face with it, a lot less like a shark, a lot more like an eel. And it wraps around and hits you with its tail. And so I want you to make me a coordination plus reaction with a, you can upgrade if you've got athletics. Oh, or you know what? Actually, not athletics. In your condition, pilot. Because you're in the suit, you're trying to get out of the way. And don't forget that you have the specialization for submersibles. So if you roll an 8, that counts twice.
Okay.
Don't forget your D4s, bud. You got
You're
2
right.
of them.
How do I? Okay, I see.
Yeah, it's not looking great. Because actually, I want you to roll your D4 separately because you rolled nothing on your dice. I want to see what happens when you roll those 2 D4s by themselves. Ooh. Oh, no. You have rolled the first catastrophic failure of the evening.
Oh,
Should
so
we
much
let
fun.
should we let him know what seconds since he hasn't played this before?
Doing?
I mean, it's only fair.
Wait. Time out. Jarek, have you used your auto success from earlier yet?
Oh, yeah.
I have not. I thought that
Oh,
was
Cheese Cat for the save.
for the save. I thought that was for.
That's whenever
Erickson.
you use it.
I'm just going to do a thing here. I'm just going to show you guys what a terrible person I am. I'll give that a
What's up?
I gave myself an auto success as well.
Oh,
Yes.
Let's just see who comes out ahead here.
Well, and don't forget that, James, you did get some D8s from Ian over at Fires Vathaline.
Oh no, I'll save those. I'm going to go ahead and just hit the fact that I have a net success, 2 net success, or no, you use your auto, so 1 net success over you. So this thing wraps around, and when it does, it plunges a bone spear. It couldn't be cartilage. Cartilage could not penetrate the wasp. The wasp is made of tungsten and titanium. It has to be at least bone. And it comes right through the left leg of your suit. And it does 3 damage to you. But more importantly, it knocks out all of your systems. You're completely in the dark. Your suit is going to implode. And you have to make it back to that moon pool in the dark. Also take a minute because you're completely in the dark. You can't hear your people anymore.
Keep it together.
You guys see it. His suit goes dark.
How long does Shadowpiercer last?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
cool.
can they see it in the moon pool, or can I? Am I the only one who can see it on the camera?
The only person who can see what's going on, ironically, is Jarek, because he's still got Shadow Pierce up. You see this thing hit you, you see this spike go through you, and then you see the whole thing just dissipate into nothing. It just dissolves, and the whole system is moving. It's moving without you.
It's good that my comms are now dark because Jarek will begin screaming. Just flat out, no disregard for what's happening, probably not even 100% aware that he's doing it, and hurling himself towards the moon pool, trying to get back into Birth.
All right. So you guys don't know what is happening with Jarek. those of you who are in the cockpit can physically see him. Anybody who's not in the cockpit cannot see him, only sees that his screen has gone dark. And Jarek, you are rushing towards, in your mind, where you're calculating the moon pool to be based on the speed of the movement. So what I want you to do, because you are trying in a fucking panic, you are trying to do complicated mathematics. I'm going to ask you to roll an acumen plus metal, and you can upgrade that if you have, let me look at your sheet real quick. You don't. Oh, you know what? You do. You don't have centering. I would give you centering. You don't have it. You cannot upgrade your dice on this one.
Okay. Not composure. It was acumen plus metal, you said?
Yeah, and don't forget your D4s. I think
And
you
my
have 3 of
D4s.
them now.
I am at 6 minutes.
Yep, 3.
This will be fine.
It'll be great.
When you get back to the ship, I'll use soothe on you.
3 successes and whatever my D4s did.
Oh, wow. Look at you, Mr. Man. Let me see what you roll. Yeah, 3 successes. So you charge your way. You sort of like blindly, I think this is where the moon pool is going to be. I am going to pilot myself towards it, and if I hit the underside of the vessel and die, fuck it. It's better than this. And then suddenly, who all is in the bridge right now?
Is that outside the moon pool, or is that a different area?
Bridge is at where I'm at up front.
So I
Okay.
think just Dr. Walton is in the bridge.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dr. Walton, first and foremost, all of the displays go fucking wacky. So go ahead and add a minute to your clock.
Oh no!
Okay.
Tick tock.
Shit.
You lose sight of him. He goes underneath the vessel. You're not sure where he has gone. For the people in the moon pool, you see his head or the head of that suit break the water. Jarek, complete darkness, complete silence. There's nobody but you. And suddenly you feel yourself growing 100 feet tall. And either you've hit the moon pool correctly, or you're dead and this is just a weird feeling. But
I'll
none of
take
the
either.
metamaterial re-transparents. You still cannot see anything. You think you're in the moon pool, but you might not be. All right, everybody who's in the moon pool, what are you doing about him coming through the hydrophobic gel?
I'm reaching out to help him get out. Like
Uh,
giving him whatever the protocol is to help someone re-enter
whatever the
when they're in
protocol
one of
is,
them.
Dr. Sigmundson is 100% not following it. He is in full flailing panic, drowning man kills everyone around him kind of mode.
So if you try to get close to him, Dr. Dunstan, he has a large bladed object in one hand that is formed of nanites, and he is swiping at you with it.
Cool.
So what I'm going to go ahead and do here is I'm going to have you, Edgar, you're going to make a strength and toughness roll. You don't have the upgrade here, so it's just that with your D4s. Dr. I said Kat. I've been calling people by their names. I shouldn't do that. But Kat, I want you to make a coordination and reaction roll with an upgrade if you have athletics to get out of the way of this thing.
Could I argue Wing Chun Kung Fu for my hand-to-hand?
You 100,000% could do that. Yes. Yes.
Punk
You
rock.
can foo this dude out of the way.
All right.
Yeah. Dr. Wheeler is going to be, since we know that there's, like, there were drinks and stuff, she's good. Whatever Jarek's preferred beverages, she's going to try to have that for him when he surfaces, because she knows this is not a thing he wanted to do. So she's gonna be, like, returning from, like, the bridge, that, like, hub area we were all in before, where we were having dinner, if that was the lockdown.
Yep.
Okay.
So it looks like
I did that wrong again.
okay. I do it wrong all the time. I wrote the damn system and I do it wrong half the time.
That
It looks
guy.
like Derek's roll was one,
Okay.
two hits.
Yeah, 2 hits
Wrong.
and everything else in the 2s and 3s.
Eliza also got 2 hits. Bad news. Okay.
Oh, I got one because
hit.
I got a damn 4.
That's right. Well, the 4's good. The 4's good.
Oh, yeah,
so
the
you
4's
got
good.
2 hits also. So that means that you bottomed out. If you bottom out in his system, he still gets to apply his base weapon damage, which is 2.
Ow.
So this thing just drives into your left side. And it's clear he's not trying to hurt you. He is just panicking. And this blade that is attached to his suit just rams right into your side. And it has a bunch of goop all over it from whatever that creature was, and that is in you. And you're gonna
Cool.
take 2 damage, and we're gonna see if that comes back on you later, whatever that goop was.
Cool. I wonder if I can add it to my vector
Oh god.
challenge.
Let's see how that goes. Not nice. Nothing nice is going to happen from here on out. I don't want to go
Not
into
at all.
combat rounds at 11:48. So I'm going to say that, or I'm going to ask the 2 people who aren't Egger, or also Gavin. Gavin, you can rush into the moon pool
Yeah,
area.
as soon as I see him disappear underneath, I was just waiting for you to get done with their part. I'm running
Do
back to the
3 of
moon
you
pool.
have any idea to get him out of this suit where he doesn't kill you?
Do we have anything that would be like a weighted blanket we could throw on him?
Some way to restrain or tie down that arm.
There's probably nothing in here that can restrain the wasp suit. You could hold him, but the wasp suit is capable of moving under pressure about 16 tons.
I thought it was all powered down though. Or is it just my displays are powered down?
With your displays, your suit is still firmly active.
Okay.
Yeah. Just gonna think to Evelyn. Evelyn, tell him to calm the fuck down. He's in the moon pool. He's good. He's safe. He's not alone. He fucking A. He just
Something is
fucking jabbed me with that goddamn goo.
Do
Something
we
is
use like
inhibiting-
smelling salts?
he's not going to be able to smell anything through the suit. Something's inhibiting my ability to communicate with the suit. I cannot get through to him. I can't even see him.
Okay.
It's as if he's not there. I can
Am I
only feel that he's
fully-
there through your reactions.
Am I fully like through that growing feeling and I can still feel myself flailing
Yes,
around?
you are.
Can I attempt to gain control of myself?
You don't have to attempt anything. You have not panicked. You can just control yourself.
Okay. So as after that strike and as all of this is coming down and maybe as Dr. Walton is just coming into the room, he'll finally flail back and kind of land on his back and stop moving for a moment. He, for whatever sound comes through this thing, he hasn't stopped screaming, but he stopped moving.
As you calm down, as you are feeling a little bit more like things are okay, your mask just opens and you find yourself looking up at these people. You find yourself looking at Dr. Hunston, who's holding the side that's bleeding, but you're all okay. You're fine. You're alive. But none of you have asked, and so I haven't told.
Where Dr. Erickson is?
But Dr. Erickson is nowhere to be found. And as you guys start to sit with this reality, and you step out of the SIRS onto the walkway between the 2 moon pools, Dr. Erickson looks back at you, gives you finger guns, and walks towards his room. And you hear Evelyn say, everybody, go to your rooms, put your bags away, make yourself comfortable. But please do meet me in the galley before the first walk down, because that's when things are really going to get interesting. And we're going to end right there.
What the?
Well, shit.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
so-
another content warning, time loops.
Oh, is that? Oh, that yes, that should be a content warning. Yes,
That's
there,
a fucking freaky thing. That
there are many
fucks with
time
my
loops.
brain.
All of this is time loops.
Cool.
What? I did not see that coming.
All right, everybody. So that is the first episode called "We Were Trained for This" of The Black, and that's it. Hold on, I have a thing I have to read.
Yeah, you have your outros, and tonight we actually get to do 2 drawings because
drawings. I'm
we
so excited.
smashed our goal for tonight.
All right, so here's the outro. I should have read it. I think it shouldn't be this whole production, but thanks for joining us tonight on the compound for the Midnight World. We're gonna start real quick. We're gonna do plugs. Oh my god, this is so fucking crazy that you guys are doing my game. This is bonkers. We're gonna start. We're gonna go in reverse order this time. We're gonna start with Pixie. Pixie, plug.
Hi, I am Pixie. I played Chloe, Dr. Chloe Wheeler. Nothing to plug. We just hope everybody has a good and restful night after watching this game.
All right, Edgar, plug some stuff, man.
Plug some stuff. I'm Edgar. I play Dr. Jarek Sigmundson. I am very excited to be playing in a game run by James again. He's a fantastic storyteller, or director in this case. And I know for a fact that what just happened to me is the beginning. So I'm going to plug the Midnight World and the Black, and y'all definitely need to tune in next week for whatever this man does to me.
I do want to point out that Edgar was actually there from the very beginning of the game that became this game. The sort of proto story that grew into the Midnight World. Edgar was there throughout that whole thing. And I am so excited to see you with me, bud. This is insane to me to see somebody playing. You're credited in the book as a special thanks, just because you were there that night. And well, that I say that night. That what was it?
Many
2
nights.
years?
Many nights. It was a while. Yeah. I
right,
played a
so-
doctor in that, and I kind of wish I played a doctor now.
Yeah, it would have been better for you, wouldn't it?
It
All right,
made
we're
me
gonna
come
go
up-
over to Kat. Kat, plug some stuff. Look into this camera, into that camera, and tell us what you got going on.
Hi, everyone. So I am your friendly neighborhood Twitch mod here on the compound. I'm Cheese Cat. You can find me on Twitter at Cat Maze, cat with a K, and it's actually underscore Maze, like the baseball player. And tomorrow we're gonna be here with Whippy, and soon, keep your ear holes open because my inaugural episode of the Scarab Archives, wherein I'll be playing a cultist, will be released.
Awesome. And finally, Gavin. Gavin, plug yourself, man.
I am Gavin. I'm the normal host of Midnight Mondays, and it's been pretty exciting not to have to actually do all that work today. I want to thank everybody again for coming and joining us here on the compound and through the Nat 30s. I am the official third wheel of Gemini Productions. So I am. He still shakes his head at that one, but I still think it's funny. And one of the developers of the game, and we are. Well, I mean, it's pretty sweet that everybody is enjoying it, and we're excited to get it finished up to get out to everybody soon.
All right, so I'm gonna read the outro. Everybody, do and I actually am gonna do this too. So you should definitely make sure to tune in tomorrow. Wicked Independent Prestige Incorporated with the Nat 30s. The Nat 30s, by the way, I cannot thank you guys enough. You guys have been like early adopters of my game and super supportive, and you make me feel like I have not wasted 7 years of my life developing this. You guys have been absolutely amazing. If you guys could just get super famous, that would make me so goddamn happy because every one of you deserves it. Thank you to Izzy for handling all the tech stuff. It's a little bit more difficult because I'm a little bit more tech heavy than Gavin is. I require certain things. Thank you so much for everything you've done for me tonight. Thank you for all of my players for showing up and being awesome. Everybody have a great night, and hopefully I'll see you next week.
Word, bird.
2 winners.
2 winners.
Lord Inquisitor Tulip, you were the first winner. I won something! Yay!
You both won with a 14.29% chance to win. You get stickers.
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 Wait, like internet stickers or physical stickers?
Physical
Oh, stickers.
stickers.
My
Stickers you can put on things.
4-year-old is going to shit herself.
Nice. I mean, she was probably going to do that anyway. At least now there's a reason.
Well, I mean, occasionally, but she's
Yeah.
well past that.
So, Lord Inquisitor Tulip, feel free to reach out to us here on Twitch or if you're on the Discord, and we will get those sent out to you. Oh, Edgar, did you see that? The stickers are
did.
being dedicated to you with a cocktail coming soon, which sounds really good. I want to find out how to space a clam. I was thinking space clams, like we go to space and get clams and juice them,
I just
I'm
want to
and then
point
that
out
goes
that as
in
well.
it.
that
So-
Dork Lord's recommendation is two ounces of vodka. That's a double shot of
Uh-huh.
vodka.
Uh-huh.
1, not ounce, just 1 clam juice. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna say an ounce. That's 3 ounces. 1 splash Tabasco.
Yeah.
That sounds
It-
fucking foul, dude. Why are you
Oh.
doing this to me? I'm gonna go inside and I'm gonna do it, but I'm for it.
Stick to Johnny Jump Ups, James.
So for a bit of clarity, and I don't want to hold up too much if we need to go ahead and close out. Lord Inquisitor Tulip is actually one of the mods and a good friend of ours from Digital Vagrant's channel. My roommate who streams Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. He's
Oh,
one of our
jeez.
mods and does cocktails, custom cocktails based on games we're playing, stuff going on in chat, things like that. And
Oh,
he's quite skilled at it. So I'm looking forward to whatever.
come watch us
thing he
tomorrow. I
does.
need an Elsa cocktail. I am so sorry to talk over you, but I really need
No,
an
no, you're
Elsa
fine.
cocktail.
Well, too bad he doesn't stream tonight, because usually at the end of the night, what we do is everybody who's willing to stay up invades somebody else's chat channel. I'm not willing to stay up tonight, but are you guys invading?
We are raiding the Loaded Dice Adventures, and we'll be going there in probably about 10 seconds or so. So everyone, put up your little heart fingers. We love you.
Make sure your arms and legs are inside the car at all times.
They
Like,
aren't.
It's like
But
actually
not your
midnight now.
head.
This is the
Your
best time
head
to send it over.
Your head belongs outside.
Thank you so
Yay.
much.
I have